This is Stephen Walker, part of Group 7 for the project IS3280 Fall 2012, and I'm going to be telling you about our project, which was basically to put the past GIS projects into a database and make it accessible to students on the internet. The purpose of this was to help in ease of navigation through these projects. The projects in the GIS department are a very good resource to present students in aiding them to come up with a topic and methods for conducting their research. If a database was created and put on the internet, it would be much more easier to navigate for the students and be a good resource for them. As you can see, we've put our database on the internet. We have a login page where the user can log in with their email and a password that's given to them, and I'll log in really quick. And once logged in, there are no guests here on this account. Once a user has a login, they have full rights to the site. You can see there's three options. We have a browse, administrative login, and a search. The browse is where users can browse based on course to get authors or to get reports. The search function allows for the user to search reports, find it based on keyword, and the administrative login section allows for a user to add or update a report as well as delete one. This is for, of course, present students who at the end of the course will be able to add their report or add their project that they did that semester for future students to have at their disposal. We are also looking into some future enhancements. One would be the better user management, and this would come with the possibility of adding guest accounts where guests can browse. They wouldn't have administrative rights, but they would be able to freely browse the reports that are on the website.
Hello, this is Bowling Hines, and I will be looking into the available functions on our site, allowing users to browse and search the database. From the home page, I will click on the Browse button, and as you can see, this takes me to a second page where I have two options, where I can browse by course to get the author, or I can browse by course to find the reports. I'm going to start by going to the drop-down menu for the Get Authors, and I'm going to browse down to Advanced GIS for Fall of 2011. I'll select that, and then I will select the Get Authors button. Here you can see that there are two authors that come up. I get both their first and last names, the title, as well as the subtitle. And at this point I'm going to select the Browse button again, head back to the Browse page, and here I'm going to browse courses to find reports. And for this I will select the Advanced GIS Spring of 2009 and click Get Reports. Here we see that I have three reports that come up. I have the title, the subtitle, and the term and the year that the reports were done. I'm going to go back to the Browse page. Now back on the Browse page, I'm going to select Back to Main, and here on the main page I will select the search function. The search function allows me to browse the reports based on keywords. I'm going to type in B, and I'm going to search reports to see if there are any reports that contain this term. As you can see, there's one report that comes up. It's a bee study in Cobb County, Georgia. And from here you have the option to again search more reports, go back to the Browse page if you would like, or return to the main page.
We're now back on the main page. My name is Nicholas Palmby, and we will be exploring the administration login, which supports the inserting, updating, and deleting of these particular records that we were just looking at in the Browse section. So to go ahead and click on the administration login, we'll click right here. And this now brings us to the main page of the administration login. At this particular point, we're now able to view all of the existing reports in the system. We're able to add a new report up here at the top, edit any existing reports here to the right, and even further to the right, we're also able to delete any of the existing reports. And then at the bottom, we're also able to navigate back to the main page. We're going to go ahead and start by adding a new record. So let's go ahead and click on Add a New Report at the top, at which point you'll now see we've moved to a new page that says Add a New Report. On this page, we're able to add a title, subtitle, report date, pages, specify whether the content is digital or not, add some additional contents, also specify the course, subject, method, location, and author for this particular report. In doing so with these types of projects, there's numerous tables that get affected by this addition of a new report. When we insert all of this data, it will actually go adjust all of those tables as needed. We're going to go ahead and click on Add a Title once we've completed inserting all of the data, at which point we then get brought back to the page here where we've now seen that report that we've just added to this page. To go ahead and edit a report, all you have to do is simply click Edit to the right of one of these reports, and it will then bring you back to a page that looks similar to the page we were just looking at, although it's already pre-populated all the data for that particular report, at which point we may now re-modify any of this data in here, and again press Update. So let's go ahead and change a little bit of this data, and we will go ahead and press Update. And this will then bring us again back to the main administration page, and you'll now see that report data has been adjusted. Now, one of the other functionalities that we've added in here is the ability to delete a particular report. We'll go ahead and click on Delete for one of these records. Once we click on Delete, we're prompted with a JavaScript alert that says, "Are you sure you want to delete this record?" At this particular point, it's a little security failsafe to make sure that data isn't getting deleted and reports aren't getting deleted that we would like to keep around. But I'm going to go ahead and click on Yes because we do want to actually delete this particular report. In doing so, you'll now notice that that report is now gone. To go back to the main page, we'll simply click on the button below that says Back to Main Menu.
Hello, my name is Eric Gar, and I'd like to take you behind the scenes of our database. All of our menus and web functionality are driven by PHP. For those of you who don't know, PHP is an open-source server-side script language specifically designed for the creation of interactive web pages. We are using a specific PHP tool that is designed to handle the administration of MySQL-powered databases. This tool is called phpMyAdmin. It enables a user to perform all of the DDL and DML statements one would normally use to create a database. The key advantage is that no software is required, such as MySQL Workbench, for example. All a user needs here is a web browser. Let's go ahead and take a look at a couple of the tables. Here is the main table of the database, Reports. As you can see from the purple text, clicking the link automatically generates a query to view the entire table. The primary key for the table is Reports ID. Every report is given a unique ID number. The foreign key of the table is Author ID. Every author is also given a unique ID number. Note the visible field. When a report is deleted by a user, this value is changed to 0. So in essence, no report is ever actually deleted. It's simply made invisible. In an effort to normalize the database, we have given most entities an ID number. For instance, every report has an ID number, every author has an ID number, every geographic location has an ID number, and every analysis method has an ID number. We have instituted many-to-many cardinality to link each entity to the report it corresponds to. For instance, look at this table, Report Courses. This table links each individual report to the course it was created for. So I showed you some behind-the-scenes functionality of the database. Mr. Gavin will now show you some of the actual code that was used to create the website and database.
Thank you, Mr. Eric, for that introduction. This is William Gavin. I apologize for my voice. I have strep throat, and I have lost my voice, so I have to whisper. I would like to take you through the PHP coding that has been designed for the use of our application and database. I would like to start off by showing the admin page. The admin web page starts off by building a link to add new reports, shown here. Further, the PHP code executes a SQL query that obtains all of the columns from the reports table, where the visible column is set to 1. From there, we loop through all of the results, building a table and listing out the title, and building a link to be able to edit that particular record shown here, and given the ability to delete that record shown here, where we have a JavaScript function to allow for confirmation of clicking the link so as not to delete records inadvertently. Let's say that we start by adding a new record, clicking the Insert New Record link, and you're taken to the admin add page, which, as you can see, executes a series of SQL select statements to help in the form generation and pre-population of the form based on values in the database. From there, you can see the select items in the web page being built by using the course names and course ID, subjects of the reports, methods, and any particular locations that have been added to the database previously. Once that form has been filled in, those values get submitted to our confirmation page that extracts all of the appropriate items, the report and title. And as you can see, I'll let you read the rest. The initial SQL statement takes the report ID and combines it with the course ID and determines if that particular record exists in the database already. The logic is set up so that if the record does not exist, in other words, once the select statement is executed, if no rows are returned, it will commence to inserting all of the appropriate values from the form. It also has to go through each individual method, location, and subject to make sure that there is not just one value, as each of those topics can have multiple values to be inserted. Therefore, each of those values are evaluated and determined to have more than one value. If they have, the insert statement gets executed for every value that was submitted. And please note, the values are mandatory, at least one. These values are not optional. At this point, the logic gets executed to simply say the record does exist, and that the insert of the report is not true and cannot continue. Upon success, a statement is written to the web page. Else, if there are any failures, any and all failures are reported. Once all of this is completed, the web page is automatically redirected back to the admin page. Now that we are back to the admin page, let's say that we choose to edit the same record that we've just populated. From there, the edit page does a similar pre-population query whereby all of the course's subjects, locations, and authors are selected and further used into the generation of the web form itself. Except in this case, we need to be able to compare the existing values that are already selected in the database. Make sure that we maintain those values while we regenerate the web page. All of the code currently functions appropriately and will maintain existing records even if there are multiple records or values selected. At which point, when all of your edits are complete, you will click the Submit button, which takes you to the confirmation page, which also goes through a series of validations whereby it will check for all records that exist and update where appropriate for records that have the potential of multiple values, or in other words, a one-to-many relationship. Those values are first deleted from the database within one logical programming group. Upon successful deletion of those values, all of the new values will then subsequently be reinserted to ensure that any and all changes that were made are accurately reflected in the database upon update. And again, throughout the logic, if anything fails, those errors are caught and then reported at the end of the page. And overall, the complete set of code will not be executed. Finally, I'd like to show you the delete function, which in this case is truly not deleting the record. As you can see, it is executing an update statement on the reports, where it sets the visible column to 0. The report ID is identified. This way, there is no loss of data by the user. Only the administrator with access to the database directly has the ability to delete records. Thank you for enduring this attempt at a presentation while not having a voice. I appreciate you taking the time to listen. Have a good day.